Day 22 of Aaron Rodgers to the Pittsburgh Steelers watch. Big Deke news. So Mike Tomlin spoke to the media yesterday and today, and of course he was asked about Aaron Rodgers, and of course we didn't get much of anything, so I'll save Tomlin's responses for later because we actually did get some good information, new news today regarding Rodgers, and that is he's throwing with DK Metcalf out in California. That's got to mean something.
He threw to DK Metcalf. They did have a throwing session, the two of them together, according to sources informed of that workout. So Rodgers going through the process and checking all the boxes, and I assume it was a good throwing session there with him and Metcalf. So we'll see if that leads to him saying, you know what, yeah, I'm fully in. I like that guy. I like that target right there.
You even have Ian Rappaport giving follow-up information regarding the throwing session on the Pat McAfee show.
This was not a coincidence. This was not like, Matthew Stafford running into Brady at Yellowstone. This was a planned throwing session. Sounds like it went very well, from my understanding. It was lengthy. It was, look, Rodgers has his process. I think it's probably not as fast as many people would like. This is what he needs. It might be his last stop, probably is his last stop. He needs to make sure it's right. If that includes throwing with the newly acquired star receiver for the team, okay. It sounded like, first of all, it wasn't exactly a secret. There were several other players. Some rookies were trading kind of around. Like, it wasn't much of a secret, but it was at UCLA. It did go well. It was, part of the process for Rodgers to say, all right, maybe this is my eventual destination.
And then Aaron Rodgers' former teammate with the Packers, James Jones, echoes the sentiments here about like the substantialness of this throwing session and how it does have meaning. Like, it is a very, very good sign. It's nothing to sneeze at. So I don't really have much more to add to this. I think all these opinions are right. I think it does mean something. Obviously, Rodgers is thinking about playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think it's just happenstance that he's throwing with DK Metcalf. This had to be set up one way or another. And I think it is good, too, that you are just seeing that all parties involved are about Aaron Rodgers being a Pittsburgh Steeler. Not only is it the organization, the front office, Tomlin, that wants Rodgers, but obviously Rodgers has shown an interest in the Steelers, but you're seeing players like DK Metcalf, significant players like DK Metcalf. Like, he wouldn't be showing up to this throwing session if he didn't want Aaron Rodgers. So obviously DK wants Aaron Rodgers throwing to him in 2025. You're also seeing Cam Hayward starting to come around. I know Deshaun Elliott had the comments, the funny comments like a month ago about Aaron Rodgers should just leave his ass in the retirement home. But a couple of days later, we saw that it was more tongue in cheek. It was a joke. They were together at a training facility or something. And yeah, I think all's good. I think everyone wants Rodgers to be a Steeler. Is what I'm saying here. From Rodgers to the front office to coaching staff, DK Metcalf, the players, Cam Hayward's coming around. So, this is happening. It's just, when's it going to happen? Rodgers, you could take as much time as you need, and that's what Mike Tomlin had to say about it, too, because, again, he was asked about this in the whole – there's a head coaches symposium, some type of thing down in Florida right now where they're all getting together, and there's a media session that took place yesterday, also today, and Tomlin – again, he said a lot. Like, there's a 30-minute interview almost on the Steelers YouTube channel right now. Says a lot, but really not much. And with the questions regarding Aaron Rodgers, it's really just a bunch of stuff that we already know, and that Rodgers doesn't really have a hard deadline, and Tomlin reiterated that in his answer here.
He's a free agent. As you guys know, he came to visit last Friday. We had a really productive day. He's been in this thing a long time. I've been in this thing a long time, but it's no substitute for, intimacy and spending time together and getting to know one another in a non-competitive environment. And so that was really good. But I don't have any new updates in terms of where the process is. We'll see where it leads us. I hadn't thought a lot about it. There is no drop-dead date specifically in my mind, no.
Now, he did hint at some, checkpoints along the way. Hasn't really thought about the draft as a deadline. Thinks May, that would be a point where he feels like we would have an answer.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I'm not really concerned about the hypotheticals at this point. We're still in the talent acquisition period of time. That's something for, May or so when we get into the team development component, and certainly it'll probably be settled by then.
And he's been having conversations with Rodgers about this and, what he's thinking.
Did he give you any idea on when he'll?
We've had some discussions, but I'll leave it between he and I.
Yeah, I think Tomlin probably has a good idea. That's going to be a point of demarcation, but also like training camp would be that final point, it seems as well. I don't think we're going to get there, though. I mean, this right here, Aaron Rodgers throwing with DK Metcalf. He had a meeting with the Steelers last week. It's gonna be between now and the draft, is my guess. It's gonna be this week, next week. I don't see it going that long. I don't. I know everyone's saying Rodgers is dragging this out and everything, but I'll say this again. This is a big decision, and we're still only 3 weeks away from free agency really starting. What did I say at the intro? Day 22. This is day 22 of all this. Rodgers finally got the information about the Vikings not being interested about a week and a half ago. Then he met with the Steelers in person. It was a get-to-know-you meeting. There weren't really contract discussions happening. Nothing set in stone. So probably he said, give me another week or two. Think about it a little bit more. Let me gather some more information or get some more details that I need, and we'll talk again. And another step in this process is Aaron Rodgers throwing with DK Metcalf. So looking like that went well. I don't know what else there is to do for Rodgers in his standpoint. But yeah, maybe it's just another week. He, had the throwing session with DK. Not only wanted to see the chemistry there, but just where he's at body-wise, physically-wise. Because that's the other thing, too. Let's not forget Rodgers was, dealing with some stuff last year. Not only was he recovering from Achilles, but he also said that his body was pretty banged up through the season. He's trying to get healthy. And maybe he's at that point now, seeing how his body responds to movements and throwing and all that. So that's probably part of the process too. But yeah, I don't know what else is left to check off for him to have a confident decision, for him to have conviction in what he's about to do next. Not sure, but I mean, it's going to happen, right? I've been saying it's going to happen. It just makes too much sense for both sides at this point. Steelers need a quarterback. Rodgers looks like he wants to play. He's just looking for the right situation. Steelers we're the right situation, right? I know we complain about the Steelers and how we've operated. We do have good structure. We do have good foundation, and I think that's something that Rodgers is looking for ever since going to the Jets. I mean, he got to see the grass wasn't always greener on the other side after leaving Green Bay, and now he's looking for a Green Bay type of situation. And we got that. We definitely got that. The history, tradition, consistency, continuity, foundation, culture, whatever you want to call it. We just can't get over the hump of being 10-7 and losing a playoff game. At least that's what we've been doing for the last 7-8 years. So that's not good enough either. We need something to get us over the hump. And that's what Rodgers is looking for too. It's been how long since, last time he won a Super Bowl was on that disappointing day for us back in, 2011, I guess. So it's been a while for him too. It's just, it's a good fit. It should work. Rodgers, I think he's going to be motivated as hell, looking to prove that he is still Aaron Rodgers and can play quarterback at an elite level. And the Steelers need elite quarterback play to help us get to where we need to be as well. So it all goes hand in hand here. But that's it. I don't think I got much else to say here. Tomlin did talk about some other stuff, that he's good with Mason Rudolph being the starter if Rodgers didn't eventually decide to sign here and become a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Or uncomfortable would you be with Mason taking QB1 reps when you guys get out on the field?
That's why we brought him back. I'm comfortable with that, man. We've been there before. He's a very capable guy.
I mean, it's funny because it's I don't believe you fully. I don't believe what Tomlin's saying here fully, because if you believed in Mason that much, I don't think we would have pivoted in the quarterback direction last offseason. And I'm not even blaming the Steelers. Russell Wilson for $1 million. I get it. I'm just saying, though, if you really believed in Mason like that, we just would have ran it back with Mason and had a Mason-Kenny competition. And then even same right now, if you believe in Mason to that degree, I mean, Rodgers isn't the first priority then. We are just rolling with Mason. But, I mean, both can be true. You do believe in Mason to an extent, but if you do feel like there's that piece out there that can upgrade the quarterback room or upgrade quarterback play to a decent extent, like you got to turn over that stone as well, which is what we tried to do with signing Russ last year for $1 million on the vet min, and then this year with Aaron Rodgers being available. Like, yeah, it's what you should be doing. You know what? I will say this. Obviously, Tomlin and the Steelers do feel confident in Mason. I think to a higher degree than what they have in the past, at least up to this point, because we would have signed another quarterback, right? Like, yeah, Russ was out there. Fields was out there. And obviously, we made some offers. I don't know if we actually made an offer to Russ, but Fields, Darnold, made an offer to Rodgers. We haven't looked at any other quarterback seriously. Like, we brought Mason. So there's something to be said for that, right? Something to be said for that. Now, I think part of that is also due to us having Rodgers be the priority, because if you go with Fields or you go to Russ or you sign like a Danny Dimes or something like that, or Sam Darnold, that means you're out of the Rodgers sweepstakes. So that's a part of it too. Like with bringing in Mason, you're still very much in play for Aaron Rodgers. Mason's that good type of like pivot player where, okay, maybe, if we have to. If it comes down to it, we can start him. But if not, we can upgrade at the position. We could bring in someone else. But that's it. For real this time. We just went on a little tangent of Mason information there. But hope you guys enjoyed. Stay chilling, and peace.